Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, and thank you for joining me today at Spiritual Warrior World podcast with my very first guest, Rich DeVizio.
How you doing?
Some of you may recognize him from Mortal Kombat and all of the several characters that he's portrayed. Some of you may recognize me from Mortal Kombat, but we are not here to talk about Mortal Kombat. It may seep in a little bit during our conversation.
It might.
It might.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
It'll be fun, yes. And really what we're here to talk about and to dive right into is about spiritual warrior. Like, what does that mean? And so my goal with this, next 30 minutes or so is really to get Rich's insight on what it means to be a spiritual warrior. So if you don't mind, we'll just get right into it.
Yeah, and we talked, even before about, everyone has a different view on what a spiritual warrior is. And so I'm going to tell you how I feel about
Yeah, I love it.
Where do I start? Let's see. Wow, when you asked me to do this, I was thinking, okay, spiritual warrior. I right away broke it down into two. I know all my answers are going to be long. It's not going to be 5 minutes. But that's how I am. But I'll try.
I'll try.
Yes, she knows.
I know.
I don't fail her.
No, never.
And you don't fail me either.
I don't fail you.
So I broke it down into two. So you can be spiritual and you can be a warrior. Obviously, first I'll say spiritual. So the way that myself, that I, my spirituality has to do with a lot of, God's great earth and what I see daily and what surrounds me and what I appreciate. There's just so much like beauty in the world and so much I appreciate, whether it be nature, the outdoors and things like that. People really need to take time and smell the roses, and I really don't think that they do, Leah. I don't understand why, and I know a lot of people that don't, and I don't get it. I don't get, even if I try to explain to them my thoughts on this, they kind of think I'm nuts. They think I'm crazy. Have you come across this?
Right. Spirituality in of itself is really kind of, can feel like, what is that? It seems a little woo-woo, and I think that's why I really wanted to dive in and open up this podcast and start this conversation, because who would think that Kano would be interested in stopping to smell the roses, right? Like, I didn't know that. This is a great opportunity for us to get to know each other on a whole other level too.
For sure.
And I love that. It's like there is a separation between spirituality, being spiritual, and then this aspect of being a warrior. And I think just dissecting that is really where I want you to dive into, because I think you hit a lot just in saying, like, you just take a pause to enjoy what's around you.
I do it every day.
That is
every minute, every second.
Yeah, so if you don't mind just kind of diving in a little bit more, I think there is a difference between spirituality, being spiritual, and then being a warrior. And I think you can have all three of those pulled in and rolled into one. It's like, I know recently you've had to face some things that is challenging to your spirit, but yet you're still kind of doing the next best thing.
Yeah,
I don't know if you want to share.
Well, I will a little bit later on down the line. But I will explain to you how I divide spirituality and warrior. I think that every day you're a warrior. And I'm a warrior every day because I have to fight the negativity in the world that surrounds us every day, along with all the loves that I have and appreciate around me. And I constantly, just hear all the bad things that are going on in the world. I'm up at 5 a.m. I'm out the door for work. And as soon as I put that radio on, There's killings everywhere. It's just, I'm sick of it. And I think for me, I can turn the radio off, but the talk radio gets me, to my job. So, hearing about all the crime that's in the world, that is like my warrior fight every day to, have to have that included in all of the things that I love every day, that I try to stay focused on. When I hear about all these things that are going on in the world, I just tell myself, I have this to go back to. I have my creative hobbies and the people that I love and all the things I appreciate. I love all different types of, let's say, like vintage and antiquing. You wouldn't think Kano does that.
You wouldn't think that. Look at all these things we're finding out today.
But I love history, and surrounding myself by just goodness. And I think the fight is every day is to just try to block out the bad, but it's just constantly there.
It is constantly
there. That
to
me is like my warrior fight.
Yeah.
And things go through my head thinking like, what could I do?
I think the fight and the warrior aspect.
We're bombarded with this. And this is why people will say, don't you watch the news? I'm like, I don't want to friggin' watch the news.
Right.
Every time I turn it on, it's just negativity. So I try to just dive into goodness.
Yeah.
That's what I do. And surround myself with good people, good food.
Yes.
Have good food.
Yes.
Speaking of food, you were asking me about something that I just recently went through, and that is, for a long time, people say, the red meat's bad, you shouldn't eat it, I'll have my burger here every once in a while, but I kind of tone down a lot on the red meat, and I don't really eat a lot of leafy greens, and I'll have my salads, but it's always like the one that has a lot of water in it, like the
iceberg lettuce.
Actually, I gave up iceberg a long time ago, but I like romaine, which is pretty good, but I don't do the spinach, but I like spinach. So, back
you heard it here first, folks. This is it.
So, it's weird because I'm now 53, and these are the things that, like, now that you're in your 50s, things start popping up, and it's not like when I was doing Kung Fu when I was in my 20s, and, I can eat whatever I wanted. And so now I think I'll be taking a supplement.
Yeah.
But, I always wanted to live life without having some sort of pill or something. Because you see the people older than us that, I got this pill to take and I got that one to take. And I'd always say, that's not going to be me. So, but yeah,
but that's part of, that's also part of, being a warrior. And
another fight.
And an aging,
Aging. What are you talking about aging?
Well,
Kano's still alive.
The timeless, warrior that you are. You just have to. It sounds like, I don't know. I mean, it sounds like your philosophy or your mentality is just kind of, you just kind of do. You're doing this thing on the daily, and I've known you for a long time, and I know that you've also maintained like the same position at your job, right? Have you had the same job for a long time?
About 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's with the same company?
Yeah. I fix the trains in the city of Chicago, so make those go around the downtown area. So, or if you're in the subway, I fix those. So.
And that in of itself too, that's always, I think again, just opening up the conversation of what is a spiritual warrior, and I think that's a really great example.
It's an everyday fight.
It's an everyday
fight to wake up at 4 or 5 a.m. and head out the door and think about that for a moment. Try to balance that and eating right. And
you have a new relationship. You've just gotten married. You
so
just bought a
that's
home.
Awesome. Just bought a house.
You're finally growing up. This is
I'm
amazing.
all grown up. I think That was my doggy.
Yeah, that was, and he has a dog. It's just, you're so responsible.
I know, I'm a big kid,
Who would have knew?
Yeah.
All right, so let's dive in a little bit more.
Okay.
I'm going to go to my questions here. Okay, so this is, I think we maybe already touched upon this, but I was going to ask, please share with me and, our audience of when you believe that you had to really exude maybe this spiritual warrior aspect. Like, when was, if you don't mind, like a challenging time for you where you really had to kind of like grunt and do face the challenge?
Can Kano cry on film?
Yes,
I don't know.
Kano can.
I'm not gonna. No,
don't cry.
I would have to say that one of my most challenging times to be courageous and strong was during my divorce, because you have to get out of the house, and you really do. Like, there's a time, if any of you ever go through this, hopefully you don't. There is a difference in divorce between the man and woman. I will tell you that I learned that.
Yeah.
Most of the time, the woman will get the children, and the man is out. That's just the way it goes. Unless, of course, the mother is like drugs or something like that.
Right.
But otherwise, basically for the man, that's it. Because, the children are going to be,
they need
the
their
nurturing,
mama. Right.
from their mom and stuff like that. But,
and you have 2 girls,
and
right?
I have 2 girls. And, it was mutual. And we're friends to today, still
That's
to
great.
today. So it's awesome. Good relationship. And, but, there's that moment that you have to, like that last day you're there at the house and you're about to move out. And now you have to walk away from your children, and you now are going to live somewhere else, and they're going to live there. And that is really tough to do.
Wow.
That's difficult. And then you go to sleep that night, that first night, and it's not under the same roof that your children are.
Oh.
So I really hope that fix your relationship.
Yeah.
That's
Get
what
your relationship together.
Yeah.
Kano therapy.
I pray that no one has to, go through divorce and.
They say that divorce is like almost like dying. That it's the spirit's experience on earth, like dying, because you have to really mourn and grieve the loss of this relationship that you had, and you were married for a long time.
12 years.
Yeah.
And see, that's a whole nother subject.
Yeah.
You can do like a topic on relationships, and are both parties spiritual, and do they agree to the same things? Are they do they love the and appreciate the same things? And if they don't, maybe it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I don't know. Me personally,
that kind of leads me into my next question for you.
I've never been the kind of man, and I'll say this now. I'm not. I may look kind of a burly guy, but I'm not macho in any certain way.
He's the big son.
Growing up, you hear things like, you hear things from guys like, that your wife, she won't let you do nothing, or you can't go out with the boys, or you can't do anything. A healthy relationship is kind of like, go ahead. Go out with your lady friends. I don't care what you do. I'm going to be in the garage. Go ahead. Or you got your thing, she's got her thing, and then you come together and you do things together. But you can't be mad and like hound that person and say, oh, you can't go there, and like who the hell are you?
Yeah.
That's the thing, is the relationship has to be healthy. We're talking about relationships. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So. Round 1.
Oh my gosh. This is what happens when he has cameras all around him. It just starts to come out.
Get over here.
Yeah. Of the horrors of his being. Okay, so we're going to pick up where we were, and we're going back into the Spiritual Warrior World podcast. And so basically, share with me a virtue that you believe a spiritual warrior should embody.
You know there's 52 virtues, right?
Did you look this up? I bet you did.
I did. I did. But because
I sent him the questions before we got here
Yeah.
because I knew he would want
I'm
to
like, man, there's
research,
so many.
review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
which
there's 52
one?
virtues.
Okay, so which one?
And there's 52 cards in a deck of cards.
So did you
What's
pick
up
the
with that?
ace or spades or what did
I
you pick?
picked, well, there's two that stand out that I think are important in being a spiritual warrior.
Okay.
And that is you have to have self-discipline and be confident. Well, I think you wanted me to choose one, but I kind of chose two.
That's okay.
so-
I mean, why would you follow the directions?
Yeah. So, did I fail you?
You did not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're lucky.
So, yeah, you better rip my heart out. What does Serena do?
She just follows the directions because she's self-disciplined and she's confident.
She doesn't have like a special power. Sorry, we're getting off subject here, but I never knew this.
No, she's an ambassador for the underworld.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
She tries to get them free.
Okay.
Remember?
Oh, that's right.
I'm asking for
Yeah.
them to be free.
You're good.
Thank you.
I'm bad.
I am good. Okay.
Okay. So
Self-discipline.
self-discipline. Can I? I guess this would be another one, but I kind of rolled it into self-discipline. I think that you have to have. How did I want to put it? You have to have strong will. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Which kind of intertwines with self-discipline, and not be like easily corrupted
Yeah.
by things that
Yeah.
surround you, and we have so many things in the world that are around us
Constantly inundating us.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we can, that will try to change us or steer us away from, our main focus.
This is so good, Rich. You're doing so good. You're staying on topic.
I am.
Okay, this leads me
You
to
love
my
it. Okay.
next question,
Okay.
which is
Oh, what about confidence?
we don't have to because you've already exuded.
She's the boss.
You've already exuded confidence.
Do you feel the exuding?
I feel it's
Do you see the exuding?
from your pores. Okay, moving on.
Okay.
So then with that, how do you practice your spirituality and your ability to kind of maintain? Because it seems like since those are the virtues that you chose, I sense you've had a long career with the self-discipline and your kung fu training and all of those aspects. You seem just a smidge confident. Just a smidge.
Little bit.
Just a tiny, tiny little bit.
13 years old, I started martial arts, Chinese kung fu. No, but yeah.
And did you do that because you were interested in it, or was there something were you being bullied, or was there something going on at school?
It would sound good if I said yes.
I mean, you should at this point.
No. When I was younger, I played a lot of baseball. The Little League, the Pee Wee League, and I was friggin' good. I should have stayed with baseball. I was awesome. But,
Pee Wee League.
think about this. Back in the day, kids weren't playing video games. They were out in the street honing their
true.
skills,
Yeah.
playing ball. So that's what we did in the 70s. And in about 6th grade, I met a kid in class, and he had come to school with some nunchucks. And he was doing these fancy moves.
Wow, he came to school with nunchucks.
Yes,
That's
and
pretty
yeah, they
impressive.
were in his bag. Yeah, it's
Wow.
better than going to school with a gun.
That is true. That is true. Yeah.
So he had made these in his garage, with the rope in between, and he was doing all these really cool moves and stuff. And I
wow.
said, "Where did you learn that?" Mm-hmm. So he learned that from his kung fu teacher, which happens to be Master Daniel Pesina, who is our castmate in Mortal Kombat, who plays Johnny Cage and Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, and a bunch of other ninjas.
So Danny was your teacher.
Danny was my
that's
teacher,
how you
and
got
I'm
it.
like 13 years old.
Wow.
And I kind of gave up baseball at that point. I think
Yeah.
it was like crossing over at that point. And Craig Clifford, who's a friend of mine who introduced me to Daniel and the nunchucks, we had gone to his house and he had videotapes of Bruce Lee. So yeah, in the 70s, you know, I had never watched a Bruce Lee movie. I didn't even know who Bruce Lee was until, you know, my friend Craig, he showed us some stuff, and I'm like, man, this guy's awesome and stuff like that. And so I was pretty impressed and started to get involved in martial arts.
And then for you, was it just something like, you know, again, kind of going back to that virtue that you find that's so important, that obviously was just something inside of you because you had this discipline.
I'm an athletic person. I've always been athletic when I was a kid, and I always had the confidence that whatever I did, I was going to be kick ass at it. I just, like, even on the block, if we played baseball or something, I was going to try to be the best ball player.
So you're driven. You have,
yeah.
and like you kind of said that too. And the virtues is that you have like a drive inside of you. You have like a self-will inside of you that doesn't want to fail.
Well, you know, when I do things, I don't want to waste my time.
Yeah, I understand.
And if I'm going to do them, I'm not going to do them half-assed.
Yeah.
I'm going to do them wholeheartedly, and I'm going to rock it.
Yeah,
that's just me. So, and I'm going to shine, and I'm going to try to kick the other person's ass. And I'm just, that's pretty much how I was as a child, you know, and just try to be the best. And you know what's humbling is when you meet someone who's better than you, someone who's just friggin' awesome. And that's when I met Ho-Sung Pak,
oh my gosh,
who also trained with us.
Yeah.
He plays Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat, but we were the same age. But Ho-Sung, man, this guy can jump. I mean, he would jump like Michael Jordan, just high, the kicking. He was amazing. And, you know, the thing is that...
Did you have to work really hard at your craft? Because I know I saw some footage of you, and I was like so impressed. I thought, wow.
We did Chinese Kung Fu, which is called Wushu, which is the martial art that today you would see Jet Li do. But we were doing that back in the 80s. So, and it's a little bit more like gymnastics, and there's a lot of high jumps and kicks. It's very fluent, a lot of fancy moves, like a lot of really cool kicks.
Do you still have, I know I've seen some
footage. I have footage on YouTube of me doing it. So
you guys should check that out if you get the chance. Is it on your YouTube channel?
It is on my YouTube channel, which is just Richard DeVizio. Or you can just type Richard DeVizio Wushu 1 or Wushu 2. And I do like a staff and bunch of cool stuff. You'll love it. Just check it out.
It is really, really impressive.
I don't know if I can move like that anymore, but
well, but I think we might have some. Yeah, I think we might have something happening here. So I just kind of want to wrap it up a little bit here and bring it to current day.
Yeah.
So sharing all of that.
So 13 years old to 26 years old was the time frame that I really did the martial arts. And after that, it was more just weightlifting and basketball. And cardio,
I do want to ask.
And biking.
I do want to ask this because I am curious. We were on the phone the other day, and I was like, I had just seen this footage of Rich, and I was like, why did you stop?
Yes. You asked me.
I want to know that. Like, why did you stop? Because you're so talented. And also, too, like, you know, I mean, and I don't want to get too off topic, but I think we're both spiritual warriors. And I think that, you know, in our craft, you know, we have a skill. We have a lot of similarities in how we've cultivated our spirituality and our physical. My question is to you, like, why stop?
Well, at 26 years old, I think it was a turning point for me because I had seen myself year before year before year that all I did, like hours upon hours a day, was
training.
Martial arts and training. Yeah. It was like 4 or 5 hours a day doing that. But, you know, I started to think about my future of like, okay, well, I'm 26 years old. What am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
You know, I had a degree in design and started a few design jobs and things like that. And then, you know, after a full day of work, you know, you go and work out, you exercise. And luckily for me, I got to work at a health club. So it was easy. And I will say that. It was easy to work out because I worked at the health club.
Yep.
Once I got a job somewhere else, it was difficult to do the whole, like, get off work, go to the health club. And I
Right.
tried it. I tried doing that, but
You were also a husband at this time,
yeah, all that
maybe
stuff.
becoming a father.
Being a father,
Yeah.
and and then you know what crosses over? Yard work. That's
Right,
what
yeah.
happens.
Yeah.
You start doing the grass, and you're doing things around the house, and that all I don't want to say like
It drains
it becomes
you.
like
Yeah.
becomes like your new exercise or something. But yeah, especially after a full day of work, and you're coming home, and now you're taking care of the house. I'll be honest to say it. There's just no time to go to the gym to
Yeah.
do that. Oh, I mean, some people will say, 30 minutes, that's all you need. And I tried it. I really did, honestly.
I think some people, though, I don't know if this is the same for you, but I'm a person that needs a lot more sleep. I have to have like 9 to 10 hours of sleep to just like be clear.
I
If
get
I
about
don't,
7.
Yeah, if
6
I don't,
to 7.
yeah.
6.5 to 7.
And if I'm not maintaining that 9 or 10, I'm napping, and it's just what I have to do. So I think saying that it's
to have the energy to do your
To do-
daily workout that you
right.
do now.
yeah,
Okay.
and I agree
I
with
need to
you.
sleep more.
Yeah, you need to get some naps in. Yeah. So
Okay.
all right. So I think we're gonna have Rich on the show again in the future.
Yay!
And when he comes back, he's going to share with us about his new workout program that he's doing.
I gotta leave now.
Some new diet tips that he's come up with.
Yeah, I'm gonna eat more steak.
He's going to eat more steak.
Yeah, more red meat.
Maybe we should do like a cooking with Rich.
Hey, we
we'll
can do
come
that. I got
back.
the grill right
We've
here.
got the grill. We'll cook up some food. We'll talk more spirituality.
We can do that.
Yeah,
And
let's
bite
do
into
that.
like a nice fillet.
yeah,
that'd be good.
Get
We
some
can do
good
that.
healthy greens.
We can do that. Yeah, that's
All right.
awesome.
All right. Well, namaste. Thank you so much for being my first guest.
Thank you. Hug.
Here at Spiritual Warrior World. Look at us. Big cheese balls.
Yes.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed our today's show. And
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
As the first guest, let me just say the first.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to go ahead and have some links posted so you can reach out to Rich yourself. Ask him to be your trainer.
Follow me on Instagram at Richard DeVizio.
There you go.
Okay, and hopefully when we tour, we get to meet you personally.
That's right.
That would be awesome,
That
too.
would be awesome.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll take Spiritual Warrior World on tour.
There you go.
Yeah, let's
See?
do it.
Okay, we can do that.
All right.
Awesome.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Be a warrior. Stay a warrior. Be inspired. Stay inspired. Join our community. This is Spiritual Warrior World.